Hi guys, and welcome to the small presentation of the new NetLock RMM updates. I'm going to show you around the major changes and additions we have done. So maybe let's just start right away with the remote screen control. If you're going to take a look, one of the biggest additions is that we are officially supporting Wayland now, currently only verified on Ubuntu, but it is greatly possible that you can also use it on other distributions as well. Maybe just give it a try and feel free to share feedback with us. I'm just going to show you how that works quickly. And in the web console, if you're selecting the Linux device and if the device has a desktop obviously installed, you can now access the screen control. So what this does, it triggers a request on the user end, which is coming from the distribution itself as a security measure. So there's currently no unattended access, only attended access. And if he grants that, which I have done in the background now, you will be able to access his screen. So you can basically do everything what you can do on Windows as well. That means you can switch to screens. I had a small cut here, but let's continue. So one of the biggest problems was, or the biggest pain points for most of the users, is that when you went on the login screen of the machine, so that there's currently no user logged in, and then you type in your password and log into this device, that you had a delay. That means, for example, it could take up to 30 seconds until you will be able to see the user's desktop, or sometimes even if a user's logged in and then you're going to switch the session to another user, that you're experiencing issues regarding the remote screen control access. So this behavior has been completely overhauled. So if you're going to take a look on that now, I'm selecting the machine, then click on screen control. We are now instantly seeing the login screen. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to type in the password, and then if you press enter, and the password should be correct, obviously, and then you will be instantly able to see that that we are instantly switched to the desktop as soon as the user has been logged in. So there's no loading time anymore, as you can just see. Another cool thing is that you're now also able to instantly see UAC dialogs. That means, for example, if you execute an application as administrator, you'll be instantly able to access and see that UAC dialog. Previously, with the old version, you would have switched the user session manually to the device name to be able to see that. This is not required anymore. Now, another cool thing we have changed is, or a smaller thing, is that keystrokes are now actually being sent hidden to the machine. That means previously, if you wanted to send, for example, password to the machine, you will be able to see the string here. Now this is hidden by default. You obviously still can view that. This is just a small addition to your privacy. Then what we have also done is you are able to instantly create screenshots of your current session. That means if you're going to take a look on Web Console again and we want to just screenshot the page of the remote device, you can now click on this download screenshot button and it will instantly trigger download with a screenshot. Now, something that is also a major change is that previously, if you rebooted the machine, it could take up to maybe like a minute or sometimes even longer until you were able to remote screen control the device again. This is also now changed due to the sync behavior of the device. So this is basically almost like an instant access now. When the device came back, you are instantly able to access it. Then what we have done is we added an experimental with virtual display driver. So in case, for example, you have no screen connected to the machine and or the screen is disabled, it could happen that Windows doesn't render the screen output, which obviously means that you are not able to see the screen or access the screen of the machine. You are now able with the virtual display management, being able to install a driver and then add custom screens and virtual screens to that machine. This is still an experimental state, so feel free to share feedback. But yeah, I think that's a great addition for your use cases. Something we have now also changed because some users experienced bad performance with the remote screen control. What this was mainly related to that the remote screen control was relying on a CPU-based capturing technique in the past. We have now switched to a GPU-based capturing technique, which is a lot faster than with the CPU. Obviously, this also depends on the CPU, on the machine and the GPU that is installed on that machine. But you should now, with the new update, instantly experience a lot smoother behavior and less system resources being consumed. And we also worked on the internals just of the remote management parts, which means that there are no thread locks happening anymore. So, for example, if you would execute a lot of scripts in the background on one device, in the meantime, you're also remote screen controlling into it and doing a lot of things parallel. This could have lead to a slower performance in the past. This will not happen anymore. If you're going to continue with the Linux agent, what we have done is the installation script. Now, if you execute it on the machine and there's an error, it doesn't just close instantly, so you don't know what happens. You're now able to see the output why it actually failed, and then can take the necessary actions. It also now automatically installs the package unzip, so that obviously, because it's required for the script, you are able to unzip the installation package and then instantly execute it. Another thing that has changed for the Windows agent is that when gathering or collecting system information, this is a lot quicker now. So depending on the machine and the amount of processes running, the installed applications and all of that stuff, this could take even maybe up to 2 minutes or even longer in certain cases. This is now really, really quick. And when I say really quick, I mean it usually just takes a few seconds. Especially on RDS servers, like terminal servers on Windows. This could drastically improve the performance, where you have typically hundreds of processes running. So there's also a great performance improvement for that. We also have fixed the Windows firewall state. That means if you're taking a look on the Windows firewall state now here in the overview, you are now able to see that this state is being collected correctly or represented correctly. The macOS agent now has an it had an auto updater before, but there had been some changes and it now auto updates correctly. Because in some edge cases it didn't. This is not an issue anymore. Maybe when I'm talking about the macOS right now, I also can mention that we have technically already prepared the remote screen control as well for macOS. We just still need to go through the code signing process by Apple, because it totally restricts us from launching our user processes at the user's login. But technically, this is also something you can expect in the future. Then what we have done, just general improvements to the UI, and the theme editor now covers more elements, and all the changes you can do on the white label tab are now being applied instantly, so you don't have to restart the application afterwards. So for example, if we call it NetLock RMM test and click on save, it now instantly changes as well for the logo and for the theme palette. So for example, if you would like to switch the color to something different, like a darker blue, and then we click on save, this will then instantly change for that. And you can obviously, of course, reset to the default as well. So if you mess something up doing a Christmas party with the web console, you can get back to that. Then what also has been changed is that the login mode now always uses the dark mode. And that's basically that. The user permissions system has been adjusted a little bit. So that means that if a user doesn't have permission to a certain resource, he will not be able to see it anymore on the left side in the nav bar. This has been, the behavior has been changed. We also added the rate limiter to the login page of the web console. That means if a user fails 10 times in a row to log in with his IP address, then with his user, then his IP address will be blocked for the next 60 minutes. There was also an issue with the community scripts. That means that sometimes when you were accessing the community scripts, you are not able to actually see the scripts. Now this behavior has been overhauled and fixed. Then what we have also done or introduced now is a patch SLR system, which I can explain you future now. Means what we think a patch SLR system should look like is that we don't want you to have an outdated instance of NetLock RMM running in your environment. So obviously an RMM is an important tool and a critical tool, so it's also a great tech vector for cyber criminals, and they will love to get access to your RMM probably to be able to control your whole network. And if in some situations it could happen that you or some other users maybe run outdated versions of NetLock, which sooner or later can result in security issues. This didn't happen before, but this is always something that could happen in the future. This will have a really bad impact on your environment, obviously. So what you have done is now is that we even use the patch SLR system. That means if we release a new version, 7 days for the first 7 days, you will just get a friendly reminder on the web console that you should update your instance. After 14 days, you're getting a more aggressive reminder from us that you should update your instance. And finally, if you miss the update for 1 month, your instance will stop working. So it will just block everything until you have performed the update. This is really just to make sure that you are always running with the latest version and the latest patches. You get what I mean, and make sure that you're always on a secure path and journey with us. That's it for the update. Basically, nothing more to tell. The next step will be finally patch management. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you have a great time. And if you encounter any issues, feel free to get in touch with us.